Hi guys. With all the madness of getting Heart Story up and running, I actually kind of forgot to make a video last night anyway. As you might know by now if you've been watching my videos for a while, I always do ritual the night before a Sabbath rather than on the actual day. It's just I suppose an Irish Celtic-y thing of me. It just seems like the time to do it. It probably makes more sense on the fire festivals, 4 fire festivals, which are actually originally Irish holy days or Irish festivals. The other 4, well, that's subject matter for a whole other video, I think. The solstices certainly were celebrated in Ireland. The equinoxes maybe not, but regardless, I still, it took me a while to decide if I wanted to do the solstices and equinoxes on the night before or on the actual day. For a while I used to do the equinoxes on the actual day, but these days I do it the night before. It just seems right for me. It's like the preparation work for the actual day rather than, I don't know. I would usually do something on the day as well, to sort of celebrate it. After I've done my ritual. So I ordinarily, or I've gotten into the habit of doing videos before I do my ritual on the night before. But I never got round to it. I was busy and in a bit of a weird headspace, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm really, really excited to be finally getting Heart Story up and running, but it's been a weird kind of process for me as well. I've been a little bit all over the place, as my boyfriend and any of my friends can probably attest to. Not like in a completely bad way either, just a bit scattered and feeling a bit strange. And I might have mentioned in another video before that I am fairly bad at sticking with projects and sticking with ideas. Now, I mean, obviously Heart Story is only at its very beginning stages and it remains to be seen if I will actually stick with it and see it through. But the fact that I've seen it through enough to actually get it off the ground and running, both the Etsy shop and the website, is maybe not unusual for me, but it still feels like a big thing for me, and I still have to battle against quite a lot of emotional resistance and that kind of stuff in order to get things like that up and running. I have a major perfectionist streak, and I also tend to just after a while feel like, oh no, this isn't really what I really want to do, or I'm not feeling as passionate about this as I thought I would, that kind of stuff. And rather than kind of pushing through that or deciding that maybe I should change something up about it, I tend to just abandon the project and decide that no, I'm not cut out to be a writer / painter / tarot reader or whatever it is that I'm currently doing. But I'm trying to work through that and to just, stick with things. And I figured that if it doesn't feel right for me, I can just change up what I'm doing. But I am absolutely 100% committed to Heart Story, whatever form it may take as time goes on. I mean, in a year's time, I don't know what I'll be doing on it. Maybe I won't be doing tarot readings at all, but I'm pretty convinced that I will at the very least be still writing about spirituality in some shape or form, and that Heart Story will still be a thing. I know that. And I'm pretty sure I will still be doing tarot readings, or at least teaching tarot or writing about tarot in some shape or form. Anyway, that's enough. That's enough rambling about Heart Story. I'm sure you don't want to hear any more about that right now, seeing as I already posted a video about it this morning, and this is supposed to be about the spring equinox. But of course, this year the spring equinox for me has been about Heart Story because I decided that I was going to launch it on the equinox. And there was, the reason for that is, it was partly just that was the time that it looked like I was going to be ready to do it. But also the spring equinox is a big time for me for manifestation, for change, for actually stepping up and becoming accountable and actually making the changes in my life that I want to. And me and my boyfriend, the first time around that we got together close enough to the spring equinox, the 14th of March. And that has always now, particularly since then, been a time for me where I just get this enthusiasm, I just get this spring in my step, and I start to feel like new things are possible. I start to get this amazing feeling of freedom and possibility. So it's a pretty powerful time of the year for me. My ritual, I'm not exactly sure how much I really want to say about it. And I did write a blog post about it. It's not exactly detailed. But I find these things a little bit easier sometimes to write about, because then I can read back and say, oh, well, I did want to say that, or I didn't want to share that, you know. But I will say that it's been more about release work for me than anything else. Well, I suppose, no, it's been about release and stepping up into the new. But I realised that the major thing for me at this point in the Wheel of the Year was shedding a skin, releasing the old me, essentially, in order to step into a new me, in order to allow things to continue to change and progress and move forward. But I did actually have a couple of really strong realizations during the ritual. I mean, part of my ritual was a sort of pre-planned path working. But then when I'm doing that sort of thing, I always allow myself to sort of go off on a tangent, or allow things to sort of happen organically to an extent. Even, you know, it's sort of like, it's like any other kind of path working I do, which is usually off the cuff and spontaneous. But I just have a plan, and I go into it with a plan, and usually my surroundings will, you know, look the way that I imagine they would look and that kind of thing. But things will still sometimes take a different kind of direction, and they did. And I just had some major realizations. I had a chat with the Morrigan, you could say. I mean, I always feel a bit strange talking about things like that in such a oh, you know, we had a chat, we had a cup of tea kind of way, because it's so different to just talking to a friend or a human being. I mean, in my personal belief, what I'm mostly doing is talking to a part of myself when I'm talking to the gods. I'm definitely tapping into something greater than myself, particularly greater than my ego, obviously, because my psyche is much, much greater than this little tip of the iceberg that is my conscious self and my ego. Yeah, it's a bit of a strange process to describe, and it's not something that I tend to want to talk about a huge amount. But I did have some pretty major realizations. She sort of laid down the law a little bit with me, I suppose, and just made it very clear what it is that I need to figure out right now, and that things are in some ways a lot simpler than I've been making them, you know. That I don't know, I tend to make things very complicated and think, oh, you know, I have to figure out exactly what it is I want to do with my life, and this thing isn't like, if everything I'm doing in my day isn't in line with that, then it all has to go, or it's all wrong. And I don't know, I tend to make things a bit difficult for me. But when it comes down to it, I think the important thing is just finding the core, you know, finding what's really important for you, and making sure that's there. So yeah, it's raining today, which is great fun. I had to take a little breather there because I needed to step back and make sure that everything I just said in the previous part of the video was okay by me, to go public. Yeah, I don't know. I'm never sure what exactly I want to share and what I don't about my spiritual practice. And I generally find that when I go with the flow and trust my intuition, when I start talking about these things on camera or writing about them, I've never then regretted anything that I've chosen to say or share. And to be honest, I'm not sure that there's a huge amount that for me needs to stay secret or private. You know, the details maybe, and things like that definitely will always stay private. You know, the actual minute detail of particularly conversations with deity, and the details of path workings and stuff like that are things that I will never share publicly. But the rough outline I've never had a problem with, and the rough outline of what it is that I'm doing in ritual and that kind of thing. So I know people vary a lot with this. Some people are happy to pretty much bear it all, maybe to an extent that I actually even wouldn't. But I think on the spectrum of things, I'm pretty far over on the side of sharing more than some people would. I know particularly a lot of Wiccans who have that sort of staying silent, that creed of staying silent. A lot of them will probably not share as much as I would, but I've always been pretty comfortable with doing so, particularly when it's within, you know, the pagan community, or, you know, I can pretty much assume that the majority of people who will be watching my videos or reading my blog are people who are interested in this kind of thing. And in a way, it's kind of easier to talk to people who are of that mindset about these kind of things than it is to talk to people who, particularly people who aren't religious at all or spiritual at all, who just don't access that part of their lives, who don't access that part of their psyche at all, because to them it sounds incredibly strange. And quite often I will just, you know, mention something in passing to my boyfriend that makes perfect sense to me. You know, it's just a little tidbit about something that I do in ritual. I'm like, oh, you know, I want to pick up this thing because it will help me when I'm doing this in ritual. And he just kind of looks at me. He's like, I'm not really following. And that, you know, I kind of forget that if you're not used to doing ritual and engaging in this kind of thing, it's a really alien kind of concept, and gestures that might be really obvious to me, and that I just have it in my head that they're normal things to do, that everyone understands what the basic components of ritual might be. You know, that other people, they're not necessarily going to get that, and it's not that he thinks things that I do are strange or anything like that. Like, he's I don't know, interested is a strong word. He's definitely interested in hearing about my spirituality. He's just not particularly curious about it himself. I mean, he's always, okay, I'm not going to go into that too much, because I don't want to kind of violate his own privacy when it comes to that kind of thing. His thoughts and feelings on spirituality and religion are not really mine to share. But anyway, how did I go on to that? I was just really going to show you the rain, because I actually quite like getting the odd day of rain, and as usual now it looks blue. It's not blue at all. This is just my tablet being crap. It's like, you know, late enough in the morning that it's full daylight, but it is lashing rain. It's pretty grey out there. But yeah, I really don't actually mind the odd day of rain as long as we get plenty of sunshine in between. And we had a glorious day yesterday, which unfortunately I didn't get a chance to spend as much time in as I would like, because I was working away on my laptop. But yeah, I was a bit disappointed when I got up today and saw it was raining, because spring equinox and all that, I was kind of expecting sunshine and to be able to go out for a wander once I had Heart Story launched, and, you know, just maybe go to a different part of town, hop on a Lewis. It's our tram system is called Lewis. It means speed in Irish. But yeah, I think I'm actually going to be having a quiet day at home. I haven't really decided what I'm doing later. I might meet my boyfriend. I probably will. I should probably, you know, mark the occasion of having launched Heart Story. I'm thinking I might, you know, go for dinner or something. But yeah, I think up until then, because it's only about 10 o'clock in the morning now, I'm just going to have a quiet day at home with tarot cards, a few tarot decks, and my journal. And maybe I'll watch a movie. What a novel idea. I'm the kind of person who never watches movies. Well, I would occasionally watch one with my boyfriend. Every few weeks, or maybe every other weekend, we would actually sit down and watch a movie if we're just, you know, not in the mood to go out and do anything. But apart from that, I'm the kind of person who's like, I don't have time to watch movies, they're really long. Yeah, I'm that person. Anyway, yeah, I think it's going to be a nice day. I'm feeling really positive about the spring equinox. I'm feeling a lot more centered and clear than I was during the week. I had a bit of a weird week, as I mentioned, and things just kind of can feel a bit cloudy and hazy for me when I'm really busy and when my head is just spinning. But I've actually taken the week off work. Well, I took 2 days, and we had a bank holiday Monday and all that, so I've ended up with a week off work, which is I really needed it. I needed it to get Heart Story up and running, and I also needed it to just give myself a bit of space as well. You know, I haven't had to work kind of 9 to 5 on the site, so I've had a bit of chance to, you know, go for a wander, sit in the sun and just breathe, you know. So I just finished launching Heart Story. I just finished doing everything that, as far as I can tell, I need to do to launch it. I've, you know, posted the video and the blog post and all that, and I was kind of like looking at it all and going, has anyone seen it? Nobody seems to have watched the video yet. I don't know if anyone even knows what's going on, if it's actually launched. And I got my first sale. So I wish I could show you, but obviously there's confidential information all over the email. I don't even want to share the person's name or anything, so I can't show you, but I got a sale and I'm all excited. So yeah, thank you to the person who bought the first tarot reading that I ever sold. I'm very excited, and it happened within like half an hour of actually launching the site, so yay. And as usual, it's all blue, but you can see it. There's a beautiful rainbow outside. And it got sunny for a while in the afternoon and it's just started raining again now. And yeah, my tablet is really not doing this justice at all, but it's possibly the most vivid rainbow I've ever seen. It's amazing. Yeah, so yeah, I actually spent part of the afternoon working on the first reading for Heart Story, which is really exciting. So yeah, I'm just about to have some dinner now. Yeah, it turns out my boyfriend actually has something on which he didn't realise was going to be in the evening today. But we met for tea earlier. Tea and cake, gluten-free cake, which was very tasty. And we're going to be going for dinner tomorrow instead. So yeah, I'm going to be messing around with tarot for the rest of the evening. I think I'm just going to put my feet up for the rest of the evening now. But it's been a really lovely spring equinox. It's been different, for sure. But it's been nice and exciting and rainy, but hey, at least I got out in the sun for 5 minutes. I hope you've all had a really wonderful spring equinox, or Ostara, whatever name you like to call it, or of course autumn equinox if you're in the southern hemisphere. And yeah, take care guys, hope you're all well, and I'll talk to you again soon.